Having a child is a blessing, but to be honest with you guys, it kind of broke me in half because I was not ready for what came, and I didn't have the right support to really become the man that I needed to be, and I broke myself. So I don't want that to happen to you. So today, I'm going to help you become the standard for your family by giving you 10 things that nobody tells you about being a dad. But first, let's run this intro. Get rich or die. 2013 Jay-Z without the suit and tie. Elevation requires separation. I remove the I, delete the M-E-N-T. No more you and I. Having a child is a blessing and one of the most beautiful things I've ever experienced from the start to today. My kids are 11 and 12. But a lot of times we don't know what we're getting ourselves into. And I think that my opinion, the best situation for a man to be a father is when he has his life together, he has his purpose, and that's the next step for him. A lot of times, especially in my culture, like we be having kids too young. We ain't got no money, we ain't got nothing saved, and it's a hassle. And you got to understand that a lot of men walk away because of the stress that comes with it. And I'm not excusing it. I'm just having a conversation. The goal is to make it a blessing, not a bad thing. So as a man, you can have kids up to 60. Like really, there's 6-year-old men getting women pregnant. I'm not saying that's the best circumstance, but the point is, you don't have to do it so young. Like men are not on clocks. Women are. You know, as the older women get, the more difficult it becomes for that woman to get pregnant. But a 40-year-old man can get a 30-year-old woman pregnant, a 28-year-old woman pregnant. God knew what he was doing. Like a man should build himself up, go through some hell, and be able to lead his family. If you are 16, 17, 18, the woman is 16, 17, 18, it's going to be hard, man. And a lot of people from before have done this. Let's clap it up for the people who have done it. But I don't want to keep pushing the same cycles. Like, we're going to become the standard, meaning that this is how we do it. We don't have kids when we're still living at home with our parents. We have kids when we're fully adults and we have our purpose. So let's get right into the 10 things, all right? Number 1, you will grieve the old you. Now, no one says this is some really deep stuff. Whoever you were, he has to die. He has to die, and you will grieve him. And that is where a lot of problems happen because some men don't want to grieve the old them. You know, they're still, to this day, fatherless homes. Why do you think that is? Like, what can cause a man to walk away from a child that he created? I mean, I can only assume a couple of things. He didn't want it in the first place. The woman was too difficult to build 18 years with, which shipped off in the first place. I'm divorced, and you know he wasn't ready to grieve himself. Like this, it's a sad thing. Like you before a kid, you're able to do A, B, and C, and then after the kid, you got to go D, F, G. And if you don't grieve the old you happily, like, hey, you're gone, I'm ready to be reborn, then you're going to kind of resent it. So for me, I never resented the man I have to be. I'm proud of who I became. However, I wasn't given the tools to keep what I was doing going. You know, I believe that a man should be able to provide for his family, pursue his purpose, and still have, be able to be a dad. The things that's going on in the world nowadays, like women want purpose too, and they got jobs, and it's like who does what. Like the things have changed a lot, and I think that before you have a child, you need to have this conversation with the woman that you love. Like, hey, if this were to happen, what are we doing? Because it's a bad situation for y'all both be working, your kid in daycare, you can't trust the daycare. Like, it's a better situation to understand what you guys are doing. Number 2, your relationship with your own father gets reopened, whether you like it or not, whether you want it or not. So, and this is so true, how you were raised or the fact that you're abandoned can come up too. Like, I ain't gonna lie, there was a point in my life where I thought about walking out on my children. And I thought to myself, well, it happened to me. What's the worst that can happen? Of course, I'm here as a full-time father. But it does cross your mind because whatever was done to you, it's in your memory. And if you have a good relationship with your pops, you're going to have a great relationship with your child. But if you don't have a good relationship with your pops, it's going to be that much harder for you to keep that relationship going on with your kids, especially if you have a boy. I got a son and a daughter, and I feel like I have a great relationship with my son. I'm trying to let him lead because I was forced to do things. I don't force my son to do nothing. I guide him, but he leads his life and I follow. It's his path. I'm here to push you. You say you're going to do it, I'm pushing you up. You know, because you're going to do this, you're going to do this, you're going to do this. You eventually resent everything, and you don't even want to talk to your parents about your dreams and what you want to do because you already know that they don't respect it. So I reverse that. Whatever was done to me, I let my kids lead their lives. Like, hey, you want to be an astronaut? Let's do it. You want to be a YouTuber? Let's do it. You want to play video games for a living? Hey, man, you better start now. Start now and see how it works, baby. You got to start now. Like, don't wait till you're 30. Like, if you're going to make it, do it now. We can find out if this is going to work or not. I get behind my son. My daughter, see, I don't just raise my kids the same. My daughter and I have a different relationship than me and my son. I follow my son. He respects me, but I follow his mission. Number 3, this is really important. You can love your child and still feel trapped. I'm going to say that one again because this one is powerful. A lot of men aren't man enough to admit this because they don't want it to come out. You don't love your child or you don't love your woman. But you can love your child and still feel trapped. Like, when I had custody of my kids, man, and I had to learn how to do hair. I had to learn how to do A, B, C, D. You're not able to do the things that you love anymore. And this is what you're getting. Like, I'm not complaining. I'm letting y'all know before y'all have kids, this is what it is. You're not able to do the things that you love anymore. Kids wake up, like, especially for them, every 2-3 hours, you got to eat. They need this, they need this, they need this. You got $100, right? You better go buy a new microphone. My son come in, hey, I need this. Dang, man, a real dad gonna give his son the money. That's how I do it. I be having nothing. You know, everything I have, I sacrifice for because I put my kids first. So you got to understand that being trapped in love had nothing to do with it. It just feels that way, like you're prison to the child's goals. You're a prison to the child's wants and needs. If your son, like my son was really allergic to food and he had all these things and you're kind of like just trying to figure it out and you don't have a guideline. There's no blueprint to this at all. So you can feel trapped. However, you are not. And I want you guys to really listen to what I'm about to say. Get up earlier. Stay up later. Find your routine. You make it work. Your kids need you at your best. See, I didn't know how to behave when I was 26 as his father. As a 38-year-old man, I didn't know exactly how to behave. I get up at midnight. I'm up at midnight. People think I'm crazy. I have to do me. I got to do me. I got to go, to work. I got to provide. I got to come home. My kids need me. Whatever they need. Right now, they're kind of freestyle. They do their own thing. But I still have to be available for them. I have to be available for them. You learn that when you, go through a divorce thing. Like, you can't have custody of your kids and be drinking if you're a single parent. Like, the law is like, what if you had to drive them? What if they needed to go to the hospital? What if? And this is how you got to be thinking as a father. You know what I mean? And when you're young, I don't know if you possess the abilities to do all that. That's why a lot of kids with their parents nowadays, there's kids being raised by grandparents. That's why the kids so bad, in my opinion, because grandparents ain't got no discipline no more. They did all the hard work. They just want to have fun. This kids is bad nowadays, man. You need to get a belt. I'm just kidding. Parents, I'm just playing with you. I got to make it a little entertaining. 4, your kids expose every unhealed part about you. That's deep, man. If you had a bad relationship with your mother, if you had a bad relationship with your father, if you were a middle child, like all these things will start to surface in your parenting techniques. If you were hit too hard, you're not going to hit your kids. And you gotta be firm with your kids, man. Like, I don't believe in that not hitting. You ain't got to beat them. Like, you ask my kids, what I used to do with my kids to make them fear me is when they're young, I used to count 1, 2. Well, when they're real young, I went up to 10. As they got older and they can have conversation with me, it was 3. And on 2.5, I deliver them with a hand smack. to where they're terrified. Even to this day, watch, they're 11, 12. If I start counting, they'll run to me because they're afraid of what that felt like at that age. Now I don't really got to hit my kids, man. I might smack my son against the head sometime when he say something crazy, but it's not hard. Like, I never aim to hurt them because I got hit hard. Like, I came from the era where you still had to go get extension cords. I've been hit with extension cords, branches. I've been punched like a grown man before. I've been knocked out, mouth all bloody, everything, man. And I don't want that for my kids, but that's unhealed trauma. But I don't have the fear. Like, I feel like I've healed because I don't have no fear of doing that to my kids. I'm going to discipline them what I feel need. And a lot of times it's just a conversation and a scolding that works. Number 5, presence is not the same as being there. This one's deep. When I first started being a dad and I didn't want to be in my marriage, I lived at home, but I was never there. I'm going to say that again. I lived there, but I wasn't there, man. Like, I was mentally checked out because I wasn't happy in my marriage. I wasn't happy with my life. Like, I was miserable, depressed, drinking a lot. I used to have to stop at the liquor store, not the liquor store, the food spot, little Michael B, what's it called? Not Buffalo. Mountain Mike's Pizza, and get a pitcher of beer before I came home every day. Because I had to be drunk to be home. And it's not the same as being there. Like, now I'm here. I'm sober and I'm here. I'm present and I'm here. Whatever my kids need, I give them my undivided attention. They text me, I text them, like, we're here. Like, right now, I'm about to go take a break from this and pick up my daughter because she gets out at 1:15. It's a minimum day. I'm here. I got you guys. I got offered overtime. I ain't worked overtime in about 2 weeks. Randall, can you stay? I promised my daughter I'd pick her up. Now, I'm supposed to pick her up all week, but I'm going to tell her, hey, tomorrow, I respect her enough to come today and let her know, hey, Thursday and Friday, I'm going to go get that money. So you're going to have to walk home. But I'm not going to just text her right now when she's expecting me. That heart drop in her head where, like, my dad's coming to get me. Oh, he chose work over me. There's not enough money in the world for me to do that to my kids at all. Number 6, nobody prepares you for the loneliness. And this one's for real, for real. You will sacrifice friendships, sacrifice fun. You will sacrifice things because your kids need you. Depending on what kind of kids, like, there's kids that have special needs. There's kids that are athletic. They do all the sports and stuff. And you sacrifice everything about you to make sure they have everything they need. And you can get lonely. I don't feel that. That's why I go to the gym. I got my studio right here. Like, everything that I need to do is in my house. I created my music. I have my YouTube, and I go on the internet. I post everything. I feel really good. I feel like I have a support system. I feel great. But when you're first doing it and you're unsure, you might feel lonely. And just know that it's normal and you're not alone. Reach out. 7, your identity disappears before a new one reappears. Man, so I used to be XX, now I'm Random Motivates. But to get Random Motivates, a lot of stuff had to happen for that to happen. So just understand that it's okay to rebuild yourself. Kind of like these companies, you see Sprite, I got a Sprite bottle. The logo changes from time to time. Now it's a black cap, yellow writing. They rebranded. So as a parent, as a father, don't be ashamed or embarrassed or indifferent about changing your identity to be a better dad. You might have to cut out saggy pants because you don't want your son to sag your pants. That's the big one. Your kid gonna follow everything you do. So you better create an identity that's worth being followed. Straight up. Number 8, the bare minimum standard that you set is the ceiling they aim for. This is super important. And this is why I get up at midnight and I grind all day. And it's starting to rub with my kids. My kids eat meal prep now. I don't make them do nothing. My son, he cooks his own pork. He cooks his own beef, puts it with rice. My daughter's eating. No, she don't cook yet. Shrimp. And they're the standard I'm setting as the bare minimum of life. This is the bare minimum. You should eat prep. You should work out. You should do this. This is the bare minimum. That's what they're aiming for. My son gets up at like 4:30, 5 o'clock, and he does something productive. Even if it's just playing games, I be working, he's trying to emulate that. He just doesn't have the task yet. So remember, your identity that you created has standards, and they're going to aim for those. They don't do what you say. They do what they see you do. Remember. Number 9, you will have a favorite moment and feel guilty about it. And I don't really agree with this because every moment to me is a moment and I don't feel guilty about nothing. But you may have that. Like, you may feel guilty about, like, for me, I make sure I weigh the scale. I got a son and a daughter. My daughter says I'm her favorite. My son says she's my favorite. But to me, they're not. Like my son, he feels because I spend more time with her that she's my favorite, but I'm letting him lead. Like, I don't want to baby you. I want you to make your own decisions, and I just support you. For her, I don't want her to rush off and try to go be with a man at 18. Like, so a lot of girls, run off to a man. I don't want that with my daughter. I want my daughter to know she has a father and she ain't got to rush for nothing. My son, he gonna leave. He need to leave at 18. They're both gonna go. But you know what I'm trying to say? So I try to let them know, like, and I don't feel guilty because I make sure that I explain to him, you know what, like, look, I might have bought her all this, but you got a PS5 that costs $600. Like, what you tripping off? My son has a whole studio. He has a microphone. He has all my old studio equipment. I upgraded. I gave it to him. He has a nice Mac. So he doesn't really feel that, but he says it. And at time to time, he'll say to get his way. And sometimes I do feel a little guilty, but then I remember I balance the scales and I have no favorites. I have a daughter and I have a son. They both need different requirements. You can't love them the same. Like, I don't want my daughter to have too much independence at a young age, but I do want her to be independent with my supervision. My son, I want you to go thrive to be independent with my supervision from afar. I ain't gonna be on under you. I want to trust you. I want to trust you. And it's the same thing with my daughter too, but I'm careful, really careful, because other girls can be already, who's your mama? I don't want that. Just like other dudes can be talking about weed and stuff. But I want my son to follow my lead without me having to tell him that. Number 10, fatherhood is the greatest accountability system ever created. You know, once you have become a father, your whole life's going to change. It should change for the better, but sometimes it does get worse first. And it only gets worse because you're going on the fly, you're adjusting it. And a lot of us are single parents we're in relationships that we don't like. Like, I love when I see happy couples, like loving couples thriving in relationships. A lot of it's fake on the internet, but I actually know some real couples raising kids who really, really love each other. They're all about each other and they raise their kids like that. Some people just stay in it for the kids. I know a lot of people like that too. Whatever the case is, hold yourself accountable to the standards you set as a father. You know, these kids need us, especially fathers, man. Like, the world can become a better place with active fathers. I truly believe that. And this is what this whole show is about, becoming the standard. You know, I'm not perfect. I'm struggling. Like, that's why this YouTube show is so powerful, because I'm actually living in this crap right now. I'm not coming down here and doing a YouTube channel. I'm the greatest, I'm rich, I'm all that. No, I'm like, hey, bro, I'm figuring it out, and I'm sharing it with you as I go, because I'm the OG. You know what I'm saying? I'm almost 40 years old. I should be a little farther off in life, but I'm not where I want to be. So I'm going to make this, so you guys going to make the same mistakes. I don't want y'all to be like me. So a child is a blessing. Create your standards first. Have your life together first. It shouldn't be a stressful situation because you're unprepared. You should be prepared for life. You know, you got the 5 pillars. You got the 5 pillars ready, the 4 pillars ready, and fatherhood's the next one. So once you get those 4 pillars, and the next thing is, I want a family, great. But some kids are graduating high school, getting married, and having kids by the time you're 21. Like, it shouldn't be. You should not, what about you? Your purpose, all those things? Because what's going to happen is you're going to hit 30, 40 years old, maybe even younger, and start either cheating because you ain't taking no booty. Like, imagine marrying the first girl you got with, and then you get money, you get a nice car, and all these girls are throwing them at you. You going to be faithful? You going to be faithful? I'm faithful because I've slept with over 50 girls. I had my way with the ladies, so I can be faithful at this age, because that's too much work. It's exhausting. That looks exhausting to me. When I see people go out and do that, oh my God, that looks exhausting. I go by the name Random Motivates, and this has become the standards. Every Monday, 6 a.m., built for you to drive to work or do cardio on the treadmill. All right? Let's get it.